friends, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching State PCS Quick Revision. In today's episode, we will be talking about an important section from your polity syllabus, that is constitutional amendments. Herein, we will be talking about the procedure. We will also see which article give you this authority to change the constitution. Other than that, we will also talk about some important constitutional amendments which has happened throughout the years. Okay. In the end, there will be some practice question for you to answer me. Okay. So let's start our discussion. Constitutional amendments. So first we will see who can amend the constitution. So article 368 is saying that parliament can amend the constitution, and how it will be amended. So that there is this procedure which is given under the article 368 of the constitution. Okay. Now constitution can be changed with there are three kind of amendments which can happen in the constitution. One is that is with the simple majority. There are certain areas of the constitution which can be amended with the simple majority, and that is why they are not, you can say, amendments under article 368, because under article 368 you will require a special majority. Okay, so those provisions which can be changed with the simple majority will not be considered as the constitutional amendment under article 368. Okay, that is one thing. Then after talking about this, there is this article 368 wherein there are two kind of amendments which has been talked about. One is with the special majority, okay, and second is with the special majority along with the ratification of half of the state assemblies. Okay, that means that this is the procedure which is there to change the constitution. But if there is any kind of federal feature which has been affected by the constitutional amendment, in that case you have to take the ratification from the half of the state assemblies. Okay, so these are the three important kind of, you can say, changes which can be made in the constitution. So if it is from the simple majority, know that this is not a constitutional amendment under article 368. Okay, now coming to the second part, which is over here, what you can change and what you can't. So in the constitution, parliament can change anything, but certain things which are forming the basic structure of the constitution, that cannot be changed. Because with the 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝 Bharati judgment, which was there, given by the Supreme Court on 24th of April 1973, at that particular day, Supreme Court has said that Parliament can amend any provision which is given in the Constitution along with the fundamental rights, but they cannot tweak with the basic structure of the Constitution. And what is the basic structure of the Constitution? That will be decided by the Supreme Court on the case by case, and it was also said that these basic structure are basically the philosophy of the constitution. You cannot change the philosophy of the constitution. Okay, now here you can see procedure to amend the Indian constitution. Amendment can be initiated by the introduction of a bill in either of the house. So if we talk about the introduction, it can be introduced in Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Okay, so any of the house can go for the introduction of the bill relating to the amendment of the constitution. Okay, bill can be introduced either by a minister or by a private member. So it is not necessary that a person from the government can only introduce the bill. A minister or any private member can also go for the introduction of the bill, and it does not require any prior permission from the president. Okay, so that is an important thing. Now this constitutional amendment related bill, that has to be passed with the special majority. Here we are talking about the procedure which is given under article 368. Okay, so know that when we are talking about the changes which are made under article 368, okay, so these will require a special majority. And what is this special majority? That special majority is basically the majority of the total membership, that is 1/2 of the total membership plus 2/3 of the present and voting. So that is your special majority. Okay, which is written over here: majority of the total membership of the house and the majority of 2/3 of the members of the house present and voting. Okay, now when we talk about the Indian Constitution's amendment, there is no provision for the joint sitting. Okay, if there is a deadlock between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha relating to the amendment related bill, there is no provision for the joint sitting, because obviously if there is a joint sitting, Lok Sabha will have a advantage over there. Moving further, if a bill seeks to amend the provision of the constitution, here they are talking about the federal provisions. Okay, please keep a note on that. If a bill is seeking to amend the federal provision of the constitution, in that case that must be ratified by the state legislatures of the half of the states by a simple majority. Okay, so basically half of the states, we have 28 states, then in that case you need half of the states ratification, and that ratification should be by the simple majority. Okay, after bill is passed by both the houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it will be sent to the president for its assent, and president has to give the assent. Okay, president does not have power to send it back for the reconsideration, and he cannot withdraw the assent. Only one option he has, that is he has to give the assent over here. Okay, so after the president's assent, that bill will become Constitutional Amendment Act, and this is the procedure to change the constitution. Okay, now we can move further to the important constitutional amendments. Now, First Amendment Act 1951, that is talking about introducing a ninth schedule. Okay, ninth schedule is added to the constitution, and that is subjected, the subject mentioned in this schedule were excluded from the judicial review. Okay, so here you can see, if there is something which you have put into the ninth schedule, that means Supreme Court cannot go and decide on, you can say that, or you can say judicial review of those particular elements will not be done. Okay, but after Kezhavanand Bharti, it was said that those acts which has been added after the Kezhavanand Bharti, okay, and those particular acts will be subjected to the judicial review, and this particular you can say the precedence was set in the I.R. Coelho case. Okay, so please remember that. Then after that we have the Seventh Amendment Act 1956. By the Seventh Amendment Act, we have gone for the reorganization of the states on the basis of languages. Okay, now here you can say, earlier there were 4 categories. It is written 3 categories, because before that we had 4 categories: Part A, B, C, and D. Okay, and they were abolished, and after the Seventh Amendment Act, we had 14 states and 6 union territories. Okay, so this is the first time we have seen a major reorganization which has happened after the independence. Okay, then comes the 10th Amendment Act. In 10th Amendment Act, you will see that Dadar and Nagar Havelis were added to the Indian Union. They have been taken from the foreign rulers and they have been added to the Indian Union. Then, if we talk about the 11th Amendment Act, so this is the act which is talking about the elections of president and vice president, and they cannot be challenged on the basis of the vacancy in the electoral college. Electoral college, when we talk about president, that is basically your elected members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and the legislative assemblies. And when we talk about the vice president, that is basically members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, so if there is a vacancy in the legislature, on the basis of that vacancy, you cannot challenge the election of president and vice president in the court. Okay, so that was the provision which was made in amendment, which is which happened in 1961. Then 12th Amendment Act 1962. This is the act where first schedule of the constitution was amended, and the Goa, Daman and Diu were added as union territories. Okay, then moving further, 13th Amendment Act 1962, wherein Nagaland was given, you can say, status of state. Okay, moving further, 14th Amendment Act 1962, legislature and the Council of Ministers were arranged for Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Goa, Daman and Diu, and Puducherry. So basically here you can say, for these you can say union territories, we have gone for the legislature and the Council of Ministers. Okay, right now if we talk about India, we have legislatures in Delhi, Puducherry, and you can say Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, moving further, 21st Amendment Act 1967. In this particular amendment, Sindhi as a language was added in the 15th language in the 8th schedule. 8th schedule is basically talking about the scheduled language. So Sindhi was added as 15th language. 22nd Amendment Act 1969, creation of separate autonomous state of Meghalaya from Assam. Okay, so here new state was created. Then 24th Amendment Act 1971. This came in the wake of Golaknath judgment. There was this case, Golaknath versus Union of India. In this particular case, what has happened is that Supreme Court said that Parliament, you can say, Parliament cannot amend fundamental rights, okay, which are part of your constitution under part 3. So Supreme Court said that Parliament cannot amend the fundamental rights. Now, to overrule this particular judgment, they have come up with the Constitutional Amendment Act, and wherein they have said that government, or you can say Parliament, can amend any part of the constitution, including the fundamental rights. Okay, so that is what has been given in the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971. And after that, you will be seeing that there was this Kezhavanand Bharti judgment in 1973, which said that Parliament can amend any part of the constitution including fundamental rights, but it cannot change or alter the basic structure of the constitution. Okay. After that, 31st Amendment Act 1973, number of Lok Sabha seats were increased from 525 to 545. Okay. Then 36th Amendment 1975, Sikkim was given, you can say, full statehood in the Indian Union. 42nd Amendment, it is also called as the mini constitution. Please remember that. 42nd Amendment Act 1976 is called as the mini constitution because there are various changes which has been made, but there are important ones that the preamble has also been changed over here. Okay, the words like socialist, secular, and the integrity were added into the preamble. So please remember that. Earlier when we talk about preamble, words like socialist and the secular were not there, though our constitution was in spirit secular constitution, yet explicit word were not used in the preamble. So with 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, we have added these words over there. Then we have also added the fundamental duties. Fundamental duties were added in the part 4A of the Constitution. Know that they were added on the recommendation of the Swaran Singh Committee. Okay, on the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee. The president was compelled to accept the advice of the cabinet. That is another change which was made under 42nd Amendment Act. Then 44th Amendment Act 1978, if we talk about, it empowers the president to send the bill back once for reconsideration. Before that, president cannot send the bill for reconsideration. Okay, either he has to give the assent or he has to withhold the assent. But with this particular amendment, president can send the bill for the reconsideration at least once. Okay. Then when we talk about the emergency provisions, so the terms like internal disturbances was replaced by the armed rebellion with respect to the national emergency. Okay. Now right to property was abolished, and it was abolished as a fundamental right, and it was actually given a status of the legal right or the constitutional right. Okay. So you can say right to property was excluded from the fundamental rights. Okay. During the national emergency, fundamental rights like Articles 20 and 21 cannot be suspended. Okay, so that was the provisions which were made under 44th Constitution Amendment Act 1978. Moving further, 52nd Amendment Act 1985. Under this act, there is a system of disqualifying the members of parliament and the state legislature. You must have, you can say, hear about the anti-defection law. Okay, that was the result of the 52nd Amendment Act. Okay, so wherein 10th schedule was also added in the constitution, that is talking about the disqualification of the you can say members. Then 61st Amendment Act 1988, that is the you can say amendment wherein the voting age has been reduced from 21 years to 18 years. Okay, that is one important factor here. Then talking about 69th Amendment Act, that is talking about the Union Territory of Delhi. So Union Territory of Delhi granted National Capital Territory status, and in addition 70-member Legislative Assembly was arranged for Delhi. Okay, so 69th Amendment Act is related to Delhi. Then 70th Amendment Act 1992, that is talking about the elected members of the National Capital Territory of Delhi, and the Legislative Assemblies of Puducherry are also included in the Presidential Electoral College. So when we talk about the, you can say, Electoral College of President, we have seen that there will be you can say members, elected members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and MLAs. Okay, so in those MLAs, the members from the Delhi and Puducherry was also included. Okay, coming to the next one, that is 71st Constitution Amendment Act 1992, wherein various languages has been added to the 8th schedule. Okay, earlier we have seen that 15th language, that was the Sindhi, which was added, and after that Konkani, Manipuri, and Nepali was added with the 71st Amendment Act. Then coming to the 73 Amendment Act, that is very important for your examinations point of view, because that is how we have given the constitutional status to panchayats. Okay, we have added part 9 on schedule 11 to the constitution, and similarly 74th amendment is talking about the urban local bodies, wherein part 9A and schedule 12 was added. Okay, moving further, 84th Amendment Act 2001, this is talking about the restoration of the Lok Sabha and the State Legislative Assembly seats for 25 years, that is till 2026. Okay, then coming to the next one, 86th Amendment Act 2002, that is talking about the right to education. Okay, that has become a fundamental right. Elementary education was accorded the, you can say, status of the fundamental right. It was arranged under Article 21A of the Constitution, and which states that the states should make arrangements for providing free elementary education for the children who are within the age of 6 to 14 years. Okay, after that there was this Article 51A that was also added for the similar having similar provisions, that is 11th fundamental duty was added for the same objective. Okay. Then the theme of Article 45 was changed, under which the state will try to provide for the free and compulsory education to all the children till they reach the age of 6 years. So under Article 45, that is talking about basically your DPSP. Okay, under that, state will go for the free and compulsory education till they reach the age of 6 years, and then 6 to 14 years, that is a fundamental right. Okay. Now moving further, 91st Amendment Act 2003, it is talking about limiting the size of the Council of Ministers. Earlier there was this minister which were appointed and there was no cap. That cap was put by you can say Amendment Act, which is passed in 2003. Then it has said that the Council of Ministers size shall not exceed 15% of the total members of the Lok Sabha. The State Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the strength of the Legislative Assembly and should not be less than 12. So there is a minimum as well as maximum for the state assemblies, State Council of Ministers. But in case of the, you can say, center, we can say that there is a maximum limit, that is 15%. Then 92 or 92nd Constitutional Amendment Act, that has added various other languages like Bodo, Dogri, Maithili, Santhali. They were included in the 8th schedule. Okay. Now the total number of the languages in the 8th schedule is 22. Then coming to the 97th Amendment Act 2011, that is about your cooperative societies, and they have also got the you can say constitutional status. The right to form a cooperative society becomes a fundamental right under Article 90. A new part, that is 9B, and that was named as cooperative societies, was added into the constitution. Then moving further, 100th Amendment Act 2015, it deals with the land transfer between India and Bangladesh. When we talk about a land transfer, or if we talk about you can say border settlement, that can be done with the executive order. But the thing is, if there is a land transfer, or you can say some part of our territory which has been seceded and given to another country, in that case you will require a constitutional amendment, and that is what has been done in the 100th Amendment Act 2015, wherein the land transfer has happened between India and Bangladesh with respect to some enclaves. Okay. 101 Amendment Act 2016, that is about your GST. Then coming to the 102nd Amendment Act 2018, that is about the constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes. Then we have 103rd Amendment Act 2019, that is talking about the EWS, or you can say economically weaker sections reservation, that is 10%. Then moving further, 104th Amendment Act 2020, that is related to, you can say, extension of the reservation for SC and ST seats in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies for 10 years. But in this particular amendment, they have actually ended the reservation of 2 seats for Anglo-Indians in the Lok Sabha nominated by the president, and they have also ended that for the state assemblies. Okay. Then 105th Amendment Act 2021, that is talking about the basically power of state government and union territories to identify the socially and backward classes. Okay. So this particular act actually restored that power. Okay. Now with that, we will be seeing the last one, that is 106th Amendment Act 2023. This is related to the women's reservation in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies. Okay. And also in the Legislative Assembly of National Capital Territory of Delhi, including those reserved for SC and ST. So basically this is related to the women's reservation, that 1/3 or 33% seat will be reserved for women. Okay. Now we will be seeing some question for you. So you have to attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. So question number 1 says that the Goods and Services Tax was introduced by the Constitutional Amendment Act, that is, your options are 97th Amendment, 100th Amendment, 101st Amendment and 103rd Amendment. Okay. Then which Amendment Act limited the size of the Council of Ministers to 15% of the total member of the Lok Sabha? 86th, 91st, 92nd and 100th. Coming to the question number 3, which amendment added the provision for free and compulsory education for children aged 6 to 14 under Article 21A? 84th Amendment, 86th Amendment, 92nd and 97th Amendment. Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. Next question is, the voting age was lowered from 21 to 18 years by which amendment? 42nd, 58th, 61st or 73? Question number 5 says, which amendment granted full statehood to Sikkim? 24th Amendment, 36th Amendment, 44th Amendment and 69th Amendment. Okay. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.
डियर व्यूअर्स, अपने एग्जाम की तैयारी को और बेहतर करने के लिए हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना न भूलें।